Hi folks, I'm back for another movie review tonight. It's me, Spidey. It's been a couple days since I reviewed one of my all-time favorite movies, the 1982 version of The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. Tonight, like I said, we were going to review the original Thing. Oh my god, this movie is such a great movie! There's the box art. I'm sure you've all seen this many, many times before and you have it in your collection, right? Okay, there it is. Yeah. Oh my god. A Howard Hawks production. Now, this movie, I believe, came out in about maybe the early mid-50s. I wasn't even born. But you know something? This movie is such a goddamn good movie. Oh my god, you got James Arness as the Thing from another world. Oh my god, he's great in it. He's got this old greenish, I think it's green. I don't really know. It's kind of weird looking. It's black and white, so you really can't tell. I think he's kind of green. He's kind of like a big old carrot from space. That's basically what he is. You know, he's like about 6'5". He's a monster of a man. And oh my god, it's a great movie. Oh my god. If none of you have ever seen this movie, I would suggest this movie goes... The soundtrack alone is worth getting the movie. The soundtrack is so creepy and eerie and spooky. It just sends the shivers up your spine. Oh my god, I can't remember the guy's name that did this, the soundtrack, but my god, he did a great job. Anyway, James Arness as the giant carrot from space that likes human blood, because that's how he grows, basically. They feed on blood. His kind, you know, from Uranus or something. Uranus. That's just a stupid joke. Oh, and you got Kenneth Toby, of course, as the big hero, the big stud Air Force pilot. You know, you've seen him in I think he acted all through somewhat through the 80s. I think Kenneth Toby was around a long time. You recognize him instantly from all the 50s and 60s and 70s, you know. Anyway, he plays an Air Force pilot in this movie. Of course, he comes to the camp, Antarctica, 1955 or whatever it is. And, of course, you know, things are fine, but they're... Well, anyway, let's start the story. Anyway, you got Margaret Sheriden as his love interest, you know, and the rest of the cast are all well-known faces from the 50s and all this kind of B-movies and stuff. You know, I'm not going to go through everybody's name here because there's probably about 15 or 20 people at this American Antarctica camp, research camp, so it's kind of pointless to go through everybody's name. But, you know, the main stars, I mean, everybody does a great job in this movie. What's really nice about this movie is that it did have to rely too much on special effects, even though there's some fire things and some gunfire and stuff like that. They really didn't show the gore because they wanted to kind of keep you in suspense. It kind of reminds me of Universal movies back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, when they basically just kind of just captured the eerie moment of like a strangler coming up to the camera to strangle some guy. You know, then they cut away. Of course, you knew he had strangled this guy with creepy music when he's coming up like this and stuff. This has kind of like the same effect. And anyway, what happens is, God, there's so many good people. You know, the actors in this movie just do a great job. I mean, everybody is very believable. You know, everybody does a great job in the parts and everything. You know, all the scientists and everything, and they're all, you know, all intellectual types and everything. Scientists at this research camp, you know, up in Antarctica. So what happens is Kenneth Toby comes back for his normal, you know, drop-off. He drops off supplies and stuff like that and picks up mail and that kind of crap, you know. Back and forth, you know, making sure the Pentagon knows what's going on up there, you know, if they made any new discoveries, all these scientists. They're basically like Kenneth Toby said, they're basically like kids with toys up there, you know. They're just so obsessed with the scientific things that they kind of put aside their own personal lives and everything, which is great, you know. They're dedicated, really. But that really has nothing to do with the movie. Anyway, so when he gets there with his two or three crewmates from this, you know, he flies, you know, just a big old clumping plane, you know, an Air Force transport plane of some sort. The scientists have found something out there that's creating a signal. So Kenneth Toby decides to go out there and look with some of these scientists to find out exactly what is going on. So, of course, they find the spaceship that's been buried under the ice. We're talking 1955. We're not talking about 82 version or 2010 version. We're talking 55 version. So this is how they really find it. So they decided to put thermite charges around it. All the scientists go out there, maybe 10 of them, maybe 10 of the 15 or 20, and they basically surround the area with thermite charges to uncover it, because there's something in the ice, and they think, they kind of make a circle around it to see what shape it was, and it turns out it's round, and of course they know they got a flying saucer, you know, and they're just thrilled. You know, anybody would be thrilled, you know, if you actually found one of these things, you know, and, you know, I gotta get drunk. I'm really excited about this movie. I have watched this movie probably at least 50 to 100 times in my lifetime. I just have this, you know, it's not on Blu-ray yet, I don't think. This is a standard DVD. There it is. I'm sure you all recognize this very well. The back cover, of course, you know. Kenneth Toby holding his love interest, Margaret Sheriden. And so anyway, they plant these thermite charges around, you know, along with Kenneth Toby and his crew, to kind of melt the ice and find out what's down there, because they think they have something buried down there, and they want to make sure that maybe they figure they got a flying saucer. Of course, they are right. It is a flying saucer. Probably been there for 100,000 years. So, of course, they detonate the thermite charges, and of course, it caused some kind of a reaction, and the ship blows up. You know, it's on fire and everything, and it just messed up bad. So, you know, what's really weird about this, they can still uncover what's left of the ship and prove that there's a UFO on Earth buried, you know, a couple hundred or thousand or 100, you know, 500 feet below the ice, the surface of the area. So, you know, they think they've destroyed it. They haven't destroyed it. They've just messed it up a bit. You know, it's still down there in pieces, maybe, but it's still down there. It's probably about the size of the way they make a circle is, it's pretty big. I'm not sure how I would describe the size of it. So anyway, they're all, you know, bummed out and everything that they think they've destroyed the spaceship, and they really haven't, you know. It's down there. But then they find another thing tick on the Geiger counter. They find the Geiger counter still ticking. So what they do is they trace it, and they find something that's buried in the ice, maybe about 50 or 100 feet from the spaceship, you know, maybe about 5 or 6 feet deep. And they kind of, you know, scrape away the ice and everything, and they kind of find out that it looks like it has a human type shape to it. So of course they chop it out, you know, just like the 82 and the 2010 version, and they haul it back. And it's just creepy as hell. I mean, it's snowing all the time. It's always, you know, gray skies there. You know, the music is haunting and everything. And of course, they bring it back and put it in like one of the sheds or something, right? You know, it's inside the basic, the storage units of the housing units of the scientists and everything. It's a big complex. I love this movie. I just love this. I might watch this movie tonight, man. It's a great movie. It's a great movie, man. Anyway, so they take turns guarding it because they know they got an alien in the block of ice. And what's really creepy is one of the guys, you know, they're taking shifts, basically. This is so great, man. They're taking shifts guarding this thing because they're afraid it's going to pop out. Of course it does, because one of these guys, he can't stand, because it looks like it's staring at you. Its eyes are open. So he puts a heating blanket on the giant, it must be at least 8 feet by 4 feet or something, this big sheet of ice that the thing is, you know, suspended in, captured in, the alien. So he puts a heating blanket on it, and of course it just melts away, and you know, it wakes up pissed off as hell, and the guy shoots it and runs out of the room, and you know, they find out that this goddamn thing is alive. You know, it hasn't killed anybody yet, but you know, they're scared shitless. Everybody's scared shitless there at that camp, man. The women, the scientists, even the cooks, you know, because they don't know what the hell this thing is, you know. It's an alien. But little do they know that it's going to try to kill each and every one of them because it needs blood to grow its baby carrots. That's basically what it is. It's kind of, James Arness is basically described as like a carrot because it's like a vegetable form of a life form. So it can basically regrow. It can basically, it doesn't, oh, it's really creepy. I love this movie. I think I'm explaining it pretty right. Anyway, it escapes to the window of the area they have it confined in, and it's outside fighting with the sled dogs. You know, there's like those Alaskan Malamute sled dogs, you know, for the Arctic and stuff that people use to go, you know, out there in those two different poles of the South and North Pole, whatever, you know. And so I'm really excited about this movie. I wanted to review this movie a long time ago, you know, but I just never got around to it. But since I reviewed the '82 version like 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago, I told everybody I was going to review this one because I truly believe this one rates exactly the same as that one. This is the one that started it all off. This is the one that started it all off, the Thing craze, the 2 sequels, or prequel sequels, however you want to describe them. Oh, look at Michael back there. He's still discoing. This guy's really pissing me off back there. You know, he demands that he has those disco lights over his head because, oh, he thinks he's a big star. You know, he thinks he's Mr. Halloween. Halloween was like 2 nights ago. He thinks that he's Mr. Halloween. Oh, yeah. He's the big shotty in the horror community. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, fuck him. Hey, he might be the horror icon of the horror community, you know, the guy that most people are scared of, you know, compared to Frankenstein or Freddy Krueger or Jason or, you know, Chucky. This guy thinks he's king, you know. King poop, that's what I say. Though I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley tonight or, you know, walking down the street, you know, following me. You know, that would be kind of a bummer. But we're getting off track here. So anyway, it kills a bunch of the sled dogs. Of course, it gets one of its arms ripped off because those dogs are vicious. You know, there's like about a dozen of them out there just chowing on them, you know. And so they bring the guy the carrot's arm back in. They start examining it. It's, you know, it looks like a human arm, except it's got kind of like claws at the fingertips and everything for killing, because that's how it kills. And so they take one of the scientists takes a pod or something out of the arm, and he's puts it in soil in the back room because he wants the head scientist. He's an idiot, but he means well, you know. Anyway, they're all looking at it around this table under a light. You know, there must be at least a dozen people in that room looking at it and trying to figure out what the origins of this thing are. You know, it's just sitting there cut off, I'd say, from like the elbow all the way to the top of the fingers, and so there's still blood from the dogs on it, and about I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later, the arm starts to actually move. The hands are actually starting to move like this, the fingers, everything. They're all looking at it going, what the hell is going on here? The thing is alive. The arm is alive. It's not really alive. It's just, it reacts to blood because that's what it feeds on. These creatures feed on blood from their home planet. That's how he came to Earth, probably trying to start a new population on Earth and, you know, decimate the human race. So, you know, that's what his goal was, to plant little baby carrots and have them grow into likenesses of him, you know. He's not pretty. Trust me, he's not pretty. Anyway, James Arness plays the giant carrot from space. He's actually quite good. He's very, you know, he doesn't have any lines or anything, but, you know, he has the makeup on. You've seen the original thing, so. And of course, he's about 6'5". He's just huge, you know. So he's more imposing even, because the other guys are probably only about like in their mid, you know, 5'5", 5'8", 10 or something like. This guy's, you know, is quite a bit taller than him. Of course, he's scary as hell. And so, you know, so the one scientist who took the pod, that's how they multiply these creatures, and he had it back in the soil, and so he finds out that these things actually feed off blood, and they're starting to grow. They have this table full of a bunch of these things growing up. They're like little sacs that are pulsing, and that's how they start to grow from like little seeds, and they grow into this giant James Arness carrot type characters, whatever you want to call them. And so, you know, he didn't tell anybody, you know, security people there that's what he was doing. And of course, he stole blood from the medical bank there to feed these goddamn things, and they're just little tiny babies. You know, it's really disgusting seeing. Eventually, he brings all his scientist friends in because they don't believe what he's done. You know, they think he's nuts. He isn't really nuts. He's just dude, you're making a huge mistake here. You know, you're going to get everybody killed. And they all look at these things. There must be at least maybe a dozen of these things. Just they kind of look like tomato plants, you know, just pulsing and everything, growing up bigger, and just it's really nasty looking. Ugh, God. But they need blood to keep growing. You know, it's just, of course, then, you know, so he decides to stand guard, and him and his fellow scientists in the greenhouse, because he figures that James Arness, the giant carrot's going to come back in and try to use the soil in there, because they have a giant greenhouse out there, you know, for their own food purposes, you know, strawberries, tomatoes, that kind of stuff, you know, grow their own stuff. So, of course, a couple of the scientists get killed, you know, and one of the scientists escapes. And, of course, the whole place is on alert, and they go back to the greenhouse, and they find out that the two scientists have been hung upside down, and their throats have been slit. And the giant carrot, James Arness, the alien, is using their blood to cultivate his new army of giant carrots. Oh my God, it's creepy. They don't really show that scene, but you know, you can just imagine it, because that's what they kept. That's what I like about some of these movies. They didn't have to use a lot of imagery. They basically just kind of made you think about, you know, if Toby opens the door and he sees these two guys hanging, but they don't show you the two guys hanging upside down with their throats cut and their blood dripping down into the soil, you know. And so, of course, you know, he's pissed off. Of course, they lock up the greenhouse and everything, and they talk to the doctor and everything, you know, and oh my God, there's one scene too where they know the thing is in there, you know, because there's a back door here basically into the greenhouse going outside. So they find out he's in there. They open the door, and he's standing right next to the door, ready to kill all these scientists, Kenneth, Toby, and his guys. And they're shooting at him and everything, and of course he flees out the back door again. James Arness, the alien. Oh my God. It's you know, the movie isn't very long. I think this movie's only about 75 minutes long, maybe. It's a very short movie, but it's very effective for what it does to your senses, your mind. It just has a creepiness that's absolutely a classic. I mean, this movie should be in everybody's collection. I'm not going to sit and tell about, you know, there's really not a lot of scenes to talk about. There's the one scene where, of course, the creature breaks through this door, and everybody's waiting for him in there. They're going to throw gasoline on it, you know, and hit him with pans and, you know, meat cleavers and everything, and try to burn him to death, you know. And, of course, that backfires, you know, because he's not really oblivious to fire, but he basically escapes. With no one really got killed, but some people got injured and stuff in the big fight, you know. They're waiting for him, because they know they can track him on a Geiger counter because of the radiation. So he's coming closer to that outside door, and then to the I mean, it's like sleeping quarters or something. And he breaks through it, you know, and you know, and they turn off the lights, and they throw gasoline on him inside the doorway, and they light him on fire, and he's knocking things over with his big old clomping arms and everything, and he's ripping through mattresses and everything. Then he finally decides to flee because he's on fire, and there's too many of them compared to him, so he just takes the easy way out and, you know, puts his tail between his legs and flees. But anyway, you know, I can't believe there hasn't been anybody who isn't a horror fan or science fiction fan who has not seen this movie. I mean, this movie is, oh my God, it's a classic. It's a mega classic, in my opinion. I'm gonna go punch Michael back there and swear it. He's laughing at me. Michael's laughing at me. He's smirking because he doesn't like science fiction. He only thinks that horror rules. I'm gonna punch him in the face. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, he thinks that this webcast is a mockery because he thinks it always should be about him. Not! It's mine! Anyway, they eventually do kill this thing at the end. They figure out electricity could kill it, so they basically trap it at the end. There's only been 2 people really killed out of maybe 15, or there's around 20 people together at the camp, you know. So they kind of kill it by electricity at the end. They kind of fry it like a carrot, you know, and it kind of shrinks down and shrinks down. I'm sure you all have seen the dramatic ending of this movie until it's just a little pile of, you know, dead carrot, you know, like a pile of a cow poop or something, you know, on the walkway inside the corridors of their camp, you know. So Ah, it's a great movie. I mean, oh my God, I just cannot stress this movie enough. Oh, let's have another drink of my thing here because I don't have to work tonight, tomorrow. Anyway, we got, like I said, we got Margaret. Oh God, what's her name again? Oh, Jesus God. Well, I was going to say Margaret Hamilton, but that's the Wicked Witch of the West, I think. From The Wizard of Oz. Oh, anyway. Hey, Penny. Oh, this is Pennywise. You guys seen him? He's pretty cute, isn't he? Hi, everybody. My name is Pennywise. Can I bite you in the head? Can I bite your face off? Can I bite your wiener off or something? No. Anyway, this movie rates a 10 in all different categories. The music rates a 10. The acting rates a 10. The screenplay rates a 10. The production rates a 10. The scene, the location rates a 10. Oh my God! And it's produced by Howard Hawks, of course. And there's really not much to say about this movie. The scenes. I could tell you about all the different scenes, but I think I've covered some of the more gruesome, creepy scenes. But the whole movie is really gruesome and creepy, and it's scary. It's actually scary. So anyway, before we get this review, let's get the review done. I'm going to rate this movie a 10. Because, as with the John Carpenter thing movie in 1982, that rated a 10 too. Of course, that was a little more stylish because of the... Actually, I think this movie is more stylish because of the special effects and practical effects in the 82 version, John Carpenter's version. But this movie is a 10 on all scales. I mean, it is... I think this is one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, this rates, in, let's say maybe my top 20. This movie is fabulous from start to finish. So there it is. I'll try to put a link or a trailer for you here when I get this review done on Facebook or maybe on YouTube or something like that. And you be the judge, but I think you're all going to agree with me. This movie is a classic. Every sense of the word, a classic. So let's end this review. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the 82 version of the thing and the 55 version of the thing. So until next time, remember, tell your friends about my webcast and subscribe and spread the news. Thank you.